Imagine a story so chilling, it freezes the blood in your veins. In the quiet, unsuspecting corners of Canada, a sinister tale unfolded in the early 1990s, a story that would forever haunt the memories of those who heard it. At the heart of this nightmare are Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka, dubbed the Ken and Barbie Killers. Their horrifying spree of violence shocked a nation and left a dark shadow that lingers to this day. This is not just a story of crime, it's a journey into the depths of human depravity. Paul and Karla, with their deceptively charming looks, shattered the illusion of the perfect couple. Behind their attractive facades lurked a horrifying reality, a series of monstrous acts that defied belief. The reign of terror in the early 90s didn't just capture headlines, it gripped the entire country in a state of shock and disbelief. The revelations of their atrocities sent waves of revulsion across the public, challenging our understanding of evil and the masks it wears. As we unravel this chilling tale, we'll confront the uncomfortable truth about the thin line between outward normalcy and inner darkness. Before we do that, let's set the stage with the early lives of Paul and Karla. In the sprawling suburbs of Scarborough, Ontario, a boy was born on August 27, 1964. On the surface, Paul Bernardo's life mirrored the ordinary, with childhood moments flickering by, innocuous and serene. Yet beneath this mundane exterior churned a dark ocean of twisted fantasies. As Bernardo transitioned into his teenage years, this undercurrent swelled into a frightening amalgamation of control and abuse, marking the genesis of a predator in the making. His journey to the University of Toronto Scarborough cast a spotlight on a man who, to the untrained eye, possessed an almost magnetic charm coupled with striking good looks. These attributes, however, were merely the mask of a monster in waiting. It was here, amid the halls of academia, that Bernardo honed his sinister dual nature, perfecting the art of deception. This facade of charisma and attractiveness would later become his most lethal weapon, seducing the unsuspecting into a web spun from the darkest corners of his psyche. Not far from the bustling cityscapes of Toronto, in the tranquil town of Port Credit, Ontario, Karla Homolka was born on May 4, 1970. Raised in what seemed to be the epitome of a stable, loving family, Homolka's early life was a portrait of normalcy. Yet beneath this picture-perfect surface, a storm was brewing. Homolka, even in her formative years, harbored a chilling desire for domination and control. This dark craving lay dormant, waiting for the right spark to ignite. As Homolka grew, these deeply unsettling traits began to crystallize, forming the foundation of a disturbed soul. Her seemingly innocent facade masked a burgeoning darkness, a penchant for control that would soon find its counterpart in Bernardo's twisted world. Together, their paths would converge, creating a deadly alchemy of psychopathy and sadism. In the bustling heart of Toronto, amidst the crowded aisles of a pet convention in 1987, a sinister spark ignited between 17-year-old Karla Homolka and 23-year-old Paul Bernardo. It was an encounter that transcended the ordinary, a meeting of minds and dark desires that heralded the beginning of a chilling saga. This immediate and intense connection, rooted in shared deviant fantasies, laid the groundwork for a series of heinous acts that would soon unfold. To the outside world, Paul and Karla might have appeared as any other couple, perhaps even the embodiment of youthful charm and love. Yet beneath this facade of normalcy pulsed a dark heart, throbbing with twisted tendencies and a thirst for infamy. Bernardo, carrying the shadow of a childhood revelation about his biological father, found his disturbed self-image and behaviors amplified. This unsettling discovery had planted a seed of darkness that would grow unchecked, driving him toward a need for control and domination. Karla, on the other hand, presented the image of stability, a veneer that barely concealed her own burgeoning dark desires. Her attraction to Bernardo's dominant personality was not just a sign of submission, but a beacon of her complicity in the nightmare that was to unfold. Together, they forged a partnership not in love, but in crime, a union cemented by their mutual descent into depravity. The psychological dance between them was intricate and perverse. Bernardo, with his insatiable lust for power and control, found in Homolka not just a willing participant, but an enabler of his darkest impulses. Meanwhile, Homolka, under the guise of subservience, was an active architect of their shared path of destruction. As we delve into the abyss of their shared history, we witness the formation not of a mere couple, but of a nightmarish duo whose early lives were steeped in shadows. These shadows, laden with foreboding, whispered of the terror yet to come. In this chilling prelude, the seeds of future atrocities were sown, nurtured within the twisted union of Bernardo's deceptive charm and Homolka's disturbed soul, marking the genesis of a nightmare that would forever scar the annals of Canadian crime. Long before the fateful meeting with Karla Homolka, Paul Bernardo had already embarked on a dark journey that would mark him as one of the most feared figures in Canadian crime history. Under the guise of an ordinary suburban resident, Bernardo harbored a sinister alter ego known across Scarborough, Toronto, as the Scarborough Rapist. His early exploits into the abyss of criminality were not mere precursors to the horror he would later perpetrate with Homolka. They were a grim testament to the malevolence that lurked within him. Bernardo's reign of terror over Scarborough was characterized by a series of brutal sexual assaults that shook the community to its core. Each attack, more violent than the last, painted a picture of a predator both relentless and cunning. As his assaults escalated, the shadow he cast grew darker, enveloping the community in a palpable fear. Night after night, the safety once taken for granted by the residents of Scarborough was shattered by the knowledge that a monster walked among them. Despite the growing wave of terror, Bernardo remained a phantom, slipping through the fingers of law enforcement with chilling ease. His ability to evade capture only deepened the mystery and fear surrounding him, as if he were a ghost haunting the streets of Scarborough. The police, desperate to end his spree of violence, found themselves chasing shadows, while the community held its breath, hoping for a respite that seemed increasingly elusive. This period in Bernardo's life was a harrowing prelude to the atrocities he would later commit with Homolka. It was a time when his dark impulses roamed unchecked, leaving a trail of shattered lives in their wake. Bernardo's actions during this time laid bare the depth of his depravity, a chilling harbinger of the further darkness he and Homolka would unleash together. The couple's criminal activities began with sexual assaults. Together, Bernardo and Homolka descended into the abyss, committing unspeakable acts, including the rape and murder of 3 young women, among them Homolka's own sister, Tammy. In 1990, they drugged Tammy, assaulted her while unconscious, leading to her tragic death, a horrific escalation of their crimes. This event marked a chilling turn in their partnership, emboldening them to commit more heinous acts. Their known victims, Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French, suffered abductions, assaults, torture, and ultimately, murder. The brutality and inhumanity of these crimes, juxtaposed with the couple's youthful, deceptive normalcy, sent shockwaves of horror across Canada. The abduction, assault, and murder of Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French were meticulously planned and executed with chilling precision, showcasing the depth of their depravity. These acts were not only physically brutal, but also psychologically tormenting, as the victims were aware of their impending doom. The Bernardo Homolka saga created a media storm in Canada. The press was rife with grisly details of their crimes and the subsequent trial, captivating and horrifying the public in equal measure. The investigation into the couple's crimes was a complex endeavor, marred by initial missteps and missed opportunities. Critical evidence, including videotapes that revealed the extent of their involvement, played a pivotal role in their eventual capture. The authorities faced significant challenges in piecing together the evidence, hindered by the couple's cunning and the sheer brutality of their acts. The Canadian public reacted with vehement outrage. The savagery of the crimes, coupled with systemic failures in protecting the victims, including oversight of Bernardo's past as the Scarborough rapist and evidence mismanagement, ignited public fury. In the cold dawn of 1993, the twisted saga of Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka reached a pivotal climax as law enforcement finally closed the net around Bernardo, signaling the beginning of the end of their horrific reign of terror. The arrest of Bernardo, a moment long awaited by a community haunted by fear, marked a turning point in a case that had gripped the nation with its brutality and darkness. Yet, as one chapter closed, another, equally contentious, began to unfold with the prosecution of Karla Homolka. Homolka, the other half of this nightmare duo, found herself at the center of a legal storm that would ignite widespread controversy and outrage. In a move that shocked and appalled the public, Homolka struck a deal with prosecutors, a plea bargain that would later be infamously known as the deal with the devil. By agreeing to testify against Bernardo, Homolka secured for herself a lighter sentence, a decision by the legal system that many saw as a gross miscarriage of justice given her deep involvement in their crimes. This deal, cloaked in the promise of securing a conviction against Bernardo, opened a Pandora's box of ethical and moral questions. To many, it seemed inconceivable that Homolka, who had played a significant and active role in the atrocities committed, could bargain her way to a semblance of freedom. The public's uproar was not just about the sentence itself, but about what it represented, a perceived betrayal by the justice system, a system that seemed to have lost sight of the scale of Homolka's complicity in the face of her cooperation. In 1995, Bernardo's trial became a focal point of media attention. The horrendous details that surfaced confirmed the unimaginable depth of the couple's depravity. The trial was a high-profile event, capturing the attention of the Canadian public and media. The legal proceedings were complex, with Homolka's plea bargain becoming a point of contention and public outrage. The revelation of the videotapes during the trial brought to light the true extent of their crimes, leading to widespread horror and disbelief. Bernardo was found guilty of multiple counts, including murder and sexual assault, and was deemed a dangerous offender, sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, while Homolka's lighter sentence continued to spark debate and criticism. As Bernardo faced justice, and Homolka leveraged her knowledge for leniency, the saga of the Ken and Barbie Killers transitioned from a narrative of unspeakable horror to one of contentious legal wrangling. This phase of the story, marked by Homolka's controversial bargain, not only added a complex layer to the already dark tale, but also forced a nation to grapple with the challenging nuances of justice and morality in the face of pure evil. Psychologists and criminal experts have extensively analyzed the couple's dynamics. Bernardo's psychopathic tendencies and Homolka's apparent submissiveness, which masked her active involvement, presented a unique case study in criminal psychology. The interplay of their personalities raises questions about the nature of evil and the factors that drive individuals to commit such heinous acts. The case had a profound impact on Canadian society, leading to changes in the legal system, including the handling of plea bargains and the treatment of sexual assault victims. The public's trust in the criminal justice system was shaken, prompting calls for more stringent laws and better protection for potential victims. The story is not over yet. As Karla Homolka's release in 2005, after serving her 12-year term, was met with public dismay and apprehension, the belief that she was equally responsible for the murders and should not be at liberty was widespread. Her attempts to reintegrate into society have been marked by public scrutiny and opposition. All while Bernardo remains incarcerated, his name is now synonymous with one of the darkest chapters in Canadian criminal history. The tale of Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka remains a harrowing chapter in the annals of Canadian history, a stark reminder of the presence of evil and the vulnerability of society to such malevolence. Their story prompted significant changes in law enforcement and judicial practices in Canada, especially regarding plea deals and handling of dangerous offenders. To this day, their case challenges our understanding of justice, the psychological underpinnings of criminal behavior, and the capacity for rehabilitation. Their legacy is a reminder of the importance of vigilance and the ongoing struggle to understand and prevent such acts as this dark testament to the depths of human depravity. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments who do you think is the most hated person in North American history. Also, comment below who you would like to see me talk about next. Have a great rest of your day. Stay happy and healthy.